And it was a chickadee, and he said, timing. They came to the feeding area, right to the back lawn, this huge chickadee that had a wingspan of 6 feet and a naked red head. It was a turkey vulture, but everything was a chickadee. His wife finally hooked him on birds and learned how to discriminate. But chickadees are always with us, so we'll ignore him.
Paul, was he describing your first experience?
Recognized that as being distinct. He called it the short-legged peewit flycatcher. Then it was ignored, lumped with the willow, which is further west. Now they've come together. They are different species, but these little flycatchers are so similar, some of them, that they're confusing even to the experts. And all this has grown up since. There used to be, I remember in the old days, a lot of showy orchids, and then they disappeared for years. Now I'm told they're coming back. Very much lower, almost pasture like in the old days. And there was Olson's Woods and Peterson's. I think this is part of Peterson's pasture. That's what it was called. It's earlier, and in a decent day, we'd have at least a dozen species of birds within hearing. There was a blue jay, catbirds and towhees and all that sort of thing. They're jays, of course. My ears are still pretty good. At my age, usually people lose the higher registry by the time they're in their 50s. I've just the last year or two lost 2 or 3 birds. Cedar waxwing, black-polled warbler. Of course, birds of the middle range you always hear. My eyes are my problem. I've had cataracts removed and have to work like the devil when I'm painting. Photography is quite easy because as long as you can see a picture, these new cameras will do all the focusing for you. But they still won't see the picture. You still have to use judgment. But most people think that if you point and shoot, they've got a picture. All about these things. Bob Sundell is the #1 birder from this area. You are actually still.
Yes.
Not really.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Yes, he is by far. And so that always used to be one of my favorites, and that, curiously enough, that's a sound that turns up in several of the advertisements. I don't know whether they dubbed them in. Do you remember?
I just heard that last evening, and I've heard it many times. There is one where
I think they're dubbing it in.
They're dubbing it in
because it happens too often to be a casual thing in the soundtrack.
Right, and they don't show anything in the one advertisement.
Was it a toothpaste advertisement?
No, this one was for a wood preservative.
Like the morning warblers in the background.
The morning warblers, very obvious in the background.
So we birders make the list of things we hear over the air. But that's the game of it. See, bird watching can be many things. It can be a game or a sport or a recreation, an art, a science, whatever you choose to make it. A bore. or a boar, depending on on yourself. So if you're a boar, why it's a boar. Because I used to be in all the pipelines around town.
Yeah, well, see, there's hardly any.
Yeah.
There's the food plant.
Now, you still have black-burning warbblers in these trees?
Not, they're not like the numbers that when you were going. So that's really, right across the area, and actually the site, flies are after. Yeah, point that out to people.
Excuse me. No more than 10 people, because then I know these tour leaders that lead bird tours all over the world prefer to have groups of at least one leader for every 10 people, because beyond that, why, you're lost.
If we hear anything special.
No, there's nothing special, just the chickadees and the blue jays, but they're always with us. Song sparrow,
And a lot of birds.
goldfinches flying over, red-winged blackbird, but those are the normal things. There are some specialties that you would hear earlier in the year here.
Like
Well, the special bird right here is that alder flycatcher,
the alder flycatcher.
which is interesting.
And the morning warbler.
Morning warbler,
Nice bird.
you didn't have it today.
No, not today.
That's a bird I always like because it represents Jamestown to me.
And the birds are kind of quiet now at this time of the day.
Very quiet.
And there are some birds that are molting so that they're quiet.
Sometimes as many as a dozen or more, and they suffocate to death. They claim that between 5 and 6 million bluebirds died because of those. Now they don't use those; they use something else. But the starling gets the blame for a lot just because it's an alien. But we'd lose 40% of our wildflowers if it weren't for the aliens. Remember, we're all aliens, and so are the Indians themselves if they go back far enough. See, this is a world where everything is mixing constantly. Do you worry about starlings?
I've given up.
Well, they're here, and there's nothing you can do about them.
That's right, not at all.
They accepted our ways, and imagine being able to live with us. We're about the most difficult animal in the world. So I don't worry about house sparrows, which are nice little birds, really. Now, this is kind of a liberated attitude. I don't know whether I'm saying the right things or not.
Well, sure, they do have feathers.
Yes, and the only other creatures with feathers are the angels, so they're good.
They must be good then.
Yeah, the concern is everybody's trying to get the bluebird back in abundance here.
No, I don't. I just put up more houses. Simple as that.
Encourage the farmers to do it.
Purple martins. And it was winter time, so I thought something's wrong. And that was my first starling, but that's way back in the 20s.
So it took them that long to arrive here from
Well, they may have been.
New York.
They may have been here.
A little bit before
Yes.
that.
But I remember my first ones were.
The market, the lazy market, that was very good. In midday, then it disappeared for a month, and on the 19th of June, it was seen with a black tern at Braddock's Bay. It was only been a 1 day, but supposedly somebody got pictures, and that's the first record for New York State.
How many people swarmed in to see it?
Well, let's say dozens. It would have been
Not
hundreds, but the bird was only there the 1 day.
I see.
Hi, Roger. Hello. How are you?